Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the
Friday
the
the 13th Spooktaculars.
which is our Halloween episodes for this special 2021 Halloween. We are doing 6 of these bad boys.
This is our first episode. We're really
First
excited.
episode. Yeah, we're doing these just because I have been trying to fucking find all of these Jason comics from the years, and I wasn't sure how many there were, but I found them. And I can't say where exactly because it's not necessarily legal. But but let's just say I couldn't find the issues anywhere except on the interwebs somewhere. So, but I got all of them. I've been wanting to read them because even though you can't find them, I don't want them to be lost to the ether. You know, like they get lost. They're not reprinted anywhere. I can't find trades of these or anything.
Yeah.
Someone somewhere owns the copyright to this, and I will never be able to fucking find it. They'll never print it.
And the people who do know they have it are like, oh, well, this has got Jason on it, so that's, what do you like, $50 for this or whatever?
Yeah, but that's not the people who own the copyright. I can find the old issues, but yeah, they're going to be expensive. So that's why I'm like, hey, let's do all of these Friday the 13th miniseries, which are like the 2 and 3 issue miniseries. There was a couple 6-issue miniseries, but those are, in my mind, I'm like, it's a little too long for a Jason comic. So
yeah, he's slashing people, he's cutting people up. But you can only go so long with that.
Exactly. So, I mean, this one, it's the first one. Technically, it's not the first one, but the first one was Jason Goes to Hell, which I'm like, we're not reading Jason Goes to Hell.
That was basically the movie version.
It's the comic of the shitty movie. I can't imagine a shittier comic possibly, you know? So, you might love that movie, and I have a special place in my heart for every Jason movie, all the Friday the 13th, but that is definitely one of the weirder, one of the wackiest ones. It's hated and loved by some. It's, I personally, it's not my favorite.
What's the worst one to you? I don't know.
The first one, the worst one to me is 5.
Oh, okay.
That is the reboot where they're like, Jason's
right.
not even.
It's not even Jason.
It's not even Jason.
That's right.
It's Tommy or whatever his name is. So,
and he's got like a Michael Myers blue jumpsuit.
Actually, it's not even Tommy. It was supposed to be Tommy. Like, in their mind, you thought maybe it's Tommy, and it's like the dad of the kid who got killed at the beginning ended up being the bad. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but it's terrible. He's got the blue lines on his mask. It's the only one where he doesn't have red lines on his mask. That's how you know it's the shit one. If you see blue lines on his mask,
skip it.
Get out of there. Go to the next one. You don't need to see it. But yeah, so we were, there was that one, and I'm like, okay, we don't need to do that, but what's the first real Jason comic that came out that wasn't a movie adaptation? And the first one is a Topps comic. Topps, the trading cards, baseball cards. You might know them. You might love them. You might hate them.
You might have.
You might not remember them.
Yeah, that's your now. Who knows?
Yeah, who the fuck knows what Topps is? I don't even know if they're still around. But they had comics in the 90s, and for the low price of $2.95 in America. So that's what comics cost in 2000. So like they're like $2 more than comics at that time. They're like they're making their money back and some for this license. That you get Jason versus Leatherface with some of the best Simon Bisley covers. Of the artwork.
I think this is the one we kind of mentioned it in a previous in our Sunday episode. But like, I feel like I remember seeing this cover when I was a kid.
I specifically remember seeing this as a child. I don't remember where, but just being like, "Whoa, yeah, that's fucking cool." So Simon Bisley definitely had an effect on my childhood art, what I liked and whatnot. So my aesthetics that I liked as a child, which is weird to say. I'm sure you're not supposed to like that stuff.
And you told me, I didn't realize this when we were reading it, but this is from one of the writers of a Swamp Thing run.
Yes, so I didn't know this either, but because I've never read it before. But so I'm reading through it, I'm like, oh, who's the writer on this? And god damn it, the writer is Nancy Collins, who wrote a fantastic run of Swamp Thing. So I've heard. I actually have not read this run of Swamp Thing because it's after the Alan Moore run, but we are getting there, folks. I don't know if you know, I do a Swamp Thing Matt's Minis podcast where I'm reading every issue of Swamp Thing. We only have 5 issues until the Alan Moore run is done, and then we're into some weird land with Rick Veitch, and then we get to Nancy Collins. So I think once the hundreds hit or around there, the Nancy Collins run starts. So, and I think it was like a 20 or 25 issue run. So it was a solid run. People liked it, and it is available in omnibus. If it's not out of print yet, I can't remember if it is or not, but you can buy the omnibus of it. That's the only way you can buy it, though. They just reprinted it in omnibus, so you have to spend $100.
Gotta spend drop.
But you can't read it any other way other than on Comixology you can get the digital issue. So, but yeah, like I said, this is fucking Jason versus goddamn Leatherface, and they don't pull any punches.
No, not at all.
This starts off strong. Nancy's like, you know what? Fuck it, Jason, he's a killer. So I love this. We start off. They're like, hey, the camp has been poisoned. Like the lake has been poisoned by some chemical company, Linhart Amalgamated or whatever.
Yeah.
And Jason, he's not there anymore. He basically is able to like get out because of this rotten swamp of the lake that's become of it. They're like, we have to dredge it to clean it up and stuff. And this takes place, I want to say this takes place with him before Manhattan, because he, at the end of 7, he is stuck in the lake.
Yeah. That's where they put him in chains.
They put him in chains, and that's where he is here. So I know this takes place after that, like technically year-wise or whatever, but I think this would be in between that and Manhattan.
Okay.
In my mind, at least. So
in the Jason continuity line.
Yeah, and if you're going continuity-wise, this would have to be. And this one's called Going South, this thing, because obviously Texas Chainsaw Massacre is in Texas, and who the fuck knows where Crystal Lake is? Somewhere in New Jersey, I think it's supposed to be. So they dredge the lake to clean it up, and turns out they wake Jason up. They pull him up, and he's like, oh, well, I guess he gets shipped like via train cart because they like mix him in with all the mud and everything.
Yeah, they drop him in one of those big
trucks,
yeah.
like dump trucks basically,
Yeah.
and like a barge, like a trash barge.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know if that's a real thing. The only time I've ever seen a trash barge before this is Batman the Animated Series. I don't know if you've seen that episode where there's a weird clown that's like a robot clown that has a big barge that's poisoning them.
Yes.
So, creepy episode. But there's a trash barge. He is in this mud barge trash thing. He gets put on a train car, and there just happens to be a nice old hobo on this train car.
It's one of the little vagabonds. He's hops on the trains like, oh, we're going to the next town in
He's
that
got
right.
his little-
Spark. What's his
dog.
dog's name?
I don't know.
Not
Winky?
Sparky or something.
Winky.
Winky.
Winky
That's
the
right.
dog.
Winky.
It's a little terrier. It's adorable.
Yeah.
It's a wishbone dog.
Exactly.
And he's like, yeah, you love me, don't you? And so, Jason just punches out of this fucking container he's in, and he appears in this guy's car. And the guy's like, hey, stranger, where can I, how to help you? You need anything? Starts being nice, offers the guy a
Some of
drink.
his little alcohol bottle.
And Jason's not having any of this. Jason just cuts off his hand. And he's like, what? Why'd you chop off my hand? And the guy's crying. I was like, Jesus Christ. They're like going at it. The dog is like barking at him. He cuts the old man's head off. The dog bites him, and he cuts the dog in half.
Cuts the dog in half. And again, because it's a comic, they pull no punches.
I'm going to say this. There is Jason lore, right? There's lore about what happens at Camp Crystal Lake and who he kills. And that lore is he kills fucking teenagers or adults who fuck or do drugs. He never kills an animal, and he never kills a child in the movies. So the fact, when I saw this panel, I was like, oh my God. I guess she's going like, well, he is Jason. He wouldn't not kill the dog or whatever, I guess, I don't know.
I thought maybe he would kick the dog off.
Maybe that dog is a slut and he knew it. I don't know. But either way.
But he cuts the dog in half, and he is in half.
In half, yeah. Not long ways.
No.
Like across his belly.
Like hamburger style.
Yeah. Or whatever, yeah.
What I don't know what they call hamburger hot dogs.
No. I'm gonna say like Solomon style. Like,
oh, there you
I'm
go.
gonna cut your baby in half.
Yeah.
You get one half. Yeah. So, and this Jason looks like the one from Jason Goes to Hell. Like the mask is like part of his ingrown into his face, and he's got this weird stupid jumpsuit on or whatever. So, but yeah, so he's on this train. He's killing everybody on it. There's just the regular engineers and all those people.
He's like, hey guys, what's up?
Yeah.
But not saying anything.
And he just goes through and murders all of them very handily. The train explodes, and guess what? He is in fucking Texas. That's where he gets off the road. He runs into a guy who's running away in the woods. He's like, oh my God, they're coming after me. Help me. And this guy runs into Jason. He's like, help me.
Help me, Jason.
And Jason looks at him and gets his fucking machete and kills the guy. And then turns out there's this guy running after this man he just killed who's like, he's over here. And then that guy runs into runs into Jason. And it turns out this is the family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They were just chasing this man who was asking for help that Jason murdered. And right away, Leatherface appears and is like, rah! And like, you think he's going to kill Jason or whatever. He goes after him for a second. And like Jason's
they cross blades.
Yeah, they cross chainsaw and machete. And and it's a pretty epic panel. And then they kind of look at each other and they kind of like push away and they realize they're kind of similar.
Something similar going on.
Both of them have masks. And they look into each other's eyes and they're like, you know what? And they look and they see the man's dead. They're like, well, he did kill him. So I guess we're friends. And he gives. And like the best thing was Leatherface's chainsaw had gone out of he like fell out of his hand when they pushed backwards, and Jason looks around and he picks up the chainsaw and he gives it back to Leatherface and he's like, huh? And Leatherface is like, ah! And then they like become best friends basically.
And this is one of the best. Like these are the parts in it when it's kind of like the narration overhand. It's like he could have killed both of them, but why didn't he? The emotions filled his head and he was like, they're alien to him. He doesn't know. All he's known is anger and hate. He's uncertain of how he should act. Jason's decided to bide his time, and eventually he'll kill them. After all, he's killed everyone else he's met.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so
they kind of leave it like, okay.
So after killing a nice hobo and his dog, he has emotions about Leatherface because Leatherface and him are similar. You know, they're both.
They were coming after this person to kill them.
We'll call them both special people.
Yeah,
and they both wear masks. You know, they what are they hiding? You know, kind of thing. Mm. But so we find out the guy that was chasing this man with Leatherface his name is Hitchhiker, or he calls himself Hitchhiker. And he's like, why don't you come back to the house? I'll show you around. You seem like a cool guy. So he takes him back. Then we meet basically the rest of the family here. There's like Hitchhiker, and then there's is this the dad?
Yeah,
what's
the dad.
His name? I don't know. I don't know what his name is though. What's his name? It's not really important.
No, he's just the family. He's just the dad.
Yeah, but I like that they call Leatherface Bubba.
Yeah,
because you know what my nickname is from all the fucking workers I work around?
Is it
Bubba?
It's Bubba.
I'm like, what the? Do I?
That's such a southern like.
Yeah, I'm like,
what's up, Bubba?
Hey, do I look like? Don't fucking call me Bubba.
That's what you call the big, kind of goofy guy.
Is that what you call him? They don't know I'm that. It's like first meeting someone. They're like, "What's up, Bubba?"
What's up, Bubba? Oh,
what's up, fuckface?
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna call you from now on. So yeah, I hate that word, but I thought it was funny that he calls Jason Bubba, and so yeah, he just showing like this, the dad, like, hey, check out like Jason, he's cool and everything, and then they make fun of or Hitchhiker makes fun of Leatherface, and he gets mad and he throws the dad at Hitchhiker.
No, he throws the body. They brought
the body
back.
Yeah, he throws the body of the guy that they killed at Hitchhiker, like, I'm going to my room.
Yeah, and then he like runs upstairs.
I love in this, Jason is like a teenage girl. Like, fine, I'm going to go away and you'll never see me again.
Leatherface is like a teenage girl.
Who did I say?
You said Jason.
No, I'm sorry, yes. Well, they're both kind of.
They are both. Yeah, we'll get to. So Leatherface runs upstairs and he's like, yeah, you better go, sissy. And then Jason's like, what happened? And so he like starts following him upstairs.
Leatherface's door says, do not enter on it. It might as well have like a picture of Kurt Cobain and everything. And like, he's got posters of Conan and shit, which I thought was fun. But he's crying in his bed, and Jason just remembers another little boy who would cry when people made fun of him, and he's talking about himself, little Jason. He's like, I remember.
And this next panel is like, or the page is like one of the best pages.
This, if I could own this page,
yes,
this would be amazing. So Jason walks in and is like, huh? And then Leatherface is like, don't look at me.
He took off the face.
Yeah, he took off his
handmade
his woman mask, I guess, or his mask.
His handmade mask.
Yeah, his person's face mask. And Yeah, his Ed Gein mask.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect.
And so he's like, "Oh, don't look at me," but he doesn't say that. He just covers.
He just goes.
Then he puts on his mask, and then Jason's like, "Come downstairs."
Come downstairs, like just gestures with his hands.
Yeah, please, we're friends. Like, I want to hang with you. And then Leatherface is like, "Yes." Like,
He's
yeah, just.
And then it's just like walking down the stairs together, like they're pals.
Like we're best friends now. And dinner's ready. And then we meet like the rest of the family, like the rest of the family being Aunt Amelia, who's just a dead corpse of a fat woman, who's like you said dead, and Grandpa, who's got the hammer like he did in the movie, if you ever saw the movie. But then we find out I've never seen this before. Jason knows how to write his name because they're like, "What's your name, friend?" And he gets some blood out of a cup and he writes Jason on the wall, and they're like, "Well, welcome to the family, Jason. Good to meet you." And then like they all welcome him there, and they're like, "Grandpa, he killed cows all the time when he was a kid, and he could hit him one time in the head and they go down or whatever." And so like they did the spiel that they did in Texas Chainsaw Massacre basically.
And the next one starts off like basically it's like the next day, and they're like waking up like, "Hey, Jason, come on for breakfast."
Yeah, and also he's having like Jason is having a nightmare about drowning.
Oh yeah.
So he's very vulnerable in this. Like he's always having dreams about drowning or getting made fun of, and that's why he's relating to Leatherface. But yeah, basically, like they go have breakfast, but they're offended because Jason doesn't eat anything.
Yeah, they're like,
he
"Why
never
don't you
takes
take
off
your
his
mask
hockey
and
mask.
eat some food with us?"
And then, like the dad comes around and starts hitting the hitchhiker. And does he also hit Leatherface?
Not here, but he will later.
Okay. Hitchhiker gets up because he's mad that the dad hit him, and then he starts hitting on Leatherface, and that's when like Jason's like, and he remembers. I don't think it's his dad, but the guy that was fucking his mom when he was a kid, beating on him, being like, "That's right, run to mama, boy," and like hitting him or whatever. And I love that Jason's got his machete still. Like he's just walking around with it, just in case, But they're giving him a tour of the house. The dad is like, "Look, this is my freezer where I put all the meat. And these are like the people I'm butchering right now. And isn't it awesome?" And get a little bit about the like history of the fucking family and the house and everything. One of the weird things, they're like, "Look at our dog." And he's like, "Come out here, boy." And he doesn't move. And then they pull the dog out. And they're like, "This dog ain't worth shit." And like, hasn't been the same ever since I shot him in the face. And you can clearly see the dog has like, he's dead.
Yeah.
And he's got half of his skull showing because he got shot in the face.
Yeah, and there's like fur starting to fall off the body. It's horrible.
Yeah. So then the next victims come where they're a family looking, or no, a couple, sorry, looking for gas. They're almost out of gas. And they come to the gas station of
the Slaughter's Last Chance.
Yes, that's the name of it. And they come to the hitchhiker's gas station, and he's like, "Well, hey, folks, you need some help?" They're like, "Yeah, why don't you check the oil while you're at it?" And while he's under the hood, he like pulls whatever wires and shit, breaks the car, basically. The car ends up breaking down a couple miles from the station, and they're like, hey, we got to hurry up, Leatherface. We got some people on the way. They're about to kill everybody, so, or we're about to, get some meat or whatever. So they're like, "Leatherface, come on." And Leatherface is literally crying because of the way that the family was like treating him and stuff. And he's crying because they're like, "Hey, you know what? Jason, why don't you come with us too?" Instead of Leatherface. They're like, "Leatherface, why don't you stay here?" And so they're like, "Come on, Jason, you can kill a little bit better."
Uh-huh.
And so Leatherface is like, "But I wanted to kill him." And so they approach the family and they beat the man, or not the family, the couple. They beat the man to death with a hammer. And the woman's running away, and she runs into Jason, who just like grabs her by the neck and like chokes her. And they're like, "Hey, that's no fun. You killed her too quick. You got to let him squeal and make noise. That's the fun of it." And so kind of right away we're getting like, they don't see eye to eye on how to kill people.
Yeah.
The family takes a little too much joy in it. Jason he's just a killer. He's in it for the killing, not the sounds and the fucked up torturing and all that stuff. They come back and they're like, "Hey, we got some meat." And then they show Jason around the barn and stuff and how like they make
Yeah,
It's just like
the brother's
showing-
like, look, we make like chairs out of people and tables and shit.
Yeah, and this is where we get another beating of Leatherface because he sits in the chair that they were showing and it breaks because he's fat or whatever. And then Hitcher's like, "You son of a bitch! It took me forever to make that chair." And he starts beating the shit out of him and like slapping him and stuff and kicking on him. And this is where you get another flashback of the dad beating Jason and then Jason's mom killing the dad with the machete. And Jason takes Hitcher's hand and throws him against the wall and says, "No, you will not hurt my friend," and offers his hand to Leatherface to pick him up.
Yeah, he's like, "Come on, buddy."
Yeah, we're buds.
Yeah, he shows him hold hands and pick him up.
And then Hitcher's like, "You son of a bitch! I can't believe you threw me against the wall. Who do you think you are?
You think you could hurt me?" And he takes out a knife and stabs himself in the hand. He's like, "See, that didn't hurt at all.
Yeah.
Nothing hurts me."
And Jason's like, "All right." And then Jason picks up a bone that was from the chair and is about to stab him in the face, but Leatherface stops it.
Leatherface puts his hand on Jason's hand and is like, no, don't do it. And they're like, okay. So Jason like just walks out of the room and his brother's like, "Oh, chicken, you can't hurt me, huh?" Buck.
Yeah, but then Leatherface still is crying about the incident. You know, he's traumatized by all this stuff. And then Jason's going around the house, just looking around, and he picks up some pictures, and he starts thinking about simpler times when he didn't have so much emotional thoughts, and it just shows him like killing a couple while they were just about to have sex, and like all this. I thought that was funny. I was like, just simpler times, you know, like, and then
he sees a picture, and the dad's like, "Yeah, oh yeah, that's a picture of me and my old wife. I said I would stay and take care of the kids. That's why I'm doing this. I'm such a good father."
Oh yeah, of course you are.
Mm.
And so we get like kind of like the end scene where it's like Hitcher is still mad, obviously at Leatherface and Jason, but he tries to cut Leatherface with a knife now, and Jason just picks him up by the neck and is like throws him again. So he stabs Jason, and that's pretty much it. Where Jason is like, "Fuck this," and he gets his machete out and he starts chasing Hitcher with it. And he starts killing, or he starts walking around, and he cuts off the aunt's head, but she's already dead. But they're like, "How dare you hurt Aunt and my brother?" So it turns out the dad's brother is Hitcher, and he gets hit. The dad hits Jason in the back with a cleaver,
a meat cleaver.
But Jason just takes it and then throws it back at him, and then starts chasing him around, and tries to kill them. But then Leatherface comes out and goes, "No, you will not.
Don't hurt my family."
Yeah, so he goes after him. Then there's a big, epic
basically
Leatherface fight scene with Jason.
He cuts him, and Jason's like, "What? He hurt me? Well, fuck this then."
Yeah, I thought we were friends. And so he machetes Leatherface's arm, and then they go at it pretty hardcore. He ends up like almost cutting Leatherface's hand off, and then as Jason's about to like make his killing blow, the brother or Hitcher, he had a hammer from like a cow, you know, killing a cow, and he smashes Jason's head, and they're like, "He must be dead, right? His brains are coming out of his ears and everything." And they're like, "Yeah, he's totally dead." So then they just take him and they throw him.
Sorry, my favorite part is he's the one brother's like, "Let me take off his mask. We'll see what he is." And Leatherface still has a little bit of like, like, "Don't do that." And the brother's like, "Yeah, you're right. If one thing a man deserves is his right to his privacy."
Yes,
so Leatherface still feels bad about like, "Oh, like he was trying to hurt my family, but I still appreciate this guy. Like we had a connection."
Yeah. So then they drive to some lake. We don't not Crystal Lake, and they just throw Jason down there.
Yeah, they weigh him down.
They weigh him down with a brick, and they throw him in there. And then the best thing is Leatherface gives him back his machete.
He's like, "I'm sorry."
He puts it in his hand, and then they throw him in the water. And then he throws a rose in after him too. And that's where he sits until he gets up or like wakes up or whatever, and he cuts the line or the ropes or whatever that were tied because he has a machete.
Yeah.
And then he walks. I don't know if it's back to.
He starts to walk back towards the house, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? That lake reminded me of something. It reminded me of home, and he's like, yeah, I could kill them, but he's basically he's tired of like kind of like the back and forth of like
He just wants to be at home.
yeah.
So he goes back to Crystal Lake.
Yep.
And that's how this one ends. Jason goes back.
Jason goes home. Homeward bound.
There you go. Oh, wow. They should have called this that. I don't think that movie was out yet when they named this. But there is one called Jason, How I Spent My Summer Vacation.
Oh, yeah. That was the first name that you told me for one. I was like, that one. It just makes me think Tiny Toons right away. So I'm like, yes.
If you guys have ever or remember the Tiny Toons movie, How I Spent My Summer Vacation, they named a Jason comic after that. And I know I read it when I found it because it is a Wildstorm one. So it came out when I was at the comic book shop. I'm like, I fucking love whoever did this. And I think I had a blast reading it from what I remember. Awesome. So I am excited to read that one again. I think that's going to be like episode number 4 or something. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, so that is the end of this comic. I had fun. What do you think of this comic, John?
I was fantastic. The art was pretty, pretty good throughout it. I could tell everything was going on. Serviceable.
It was consistent art and fucking nice Simon Bisley covers. The story is ridiculous.
I laughed way more than I thought I was going to laugh at this comic.
Oh, yeah.
From some of the horrific, killings to, like, Jason and Freddy having, like, Leatherface. Jason and Leatherface having, like, stepbrothers moments where, like, we both love killing? Did we just become best friends?
Yeah.
But without saying anything, like,
you have a mask? I have a mask? Yeah, they're just looking at each other longingly, like, Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I wish there was a scene where they were both, like not dancing, but Leatherface is doing that crazy saw move, and Jason's running around with him in a field with his machete.
If they were in a field just running, yes.
It was like the music from Dumb and Dumber, where he's like, it would make me happy. Yeah, but, yeah. I don't know. This is such a ridiculous comic, but it was super fun.
It was, and that's exactly why.
I don't know if we need to rate these. We haven't really talked about rating or anything. I think it's just fun. I would definitely say check this one out if you like this.
Yeah. If you're checking out this series, if you're interested in Friday the 13th, this is one that you could definitely try to find.
Yeah, this was a fun one. We should go fun or not fun, because some of them I'm sure might not.
It stinks.
It stinks, exactly.
Or we can't say that though.
Yeah.
But no. But this one was really good. I liked it. This one is a slash.
If you find it, keep it.
It's slashingly good.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So we both recommend this one if you could find it in single issues or on the internet somewhere, or maybe they'll reprint it someday in a big Jason omnibus or some shit.
DC and other comic artists have been listening to us, so maybe other publishing houses, maybe they will.
Yeah, I say right now, by next Halloween, there will be a Jason omnibus of every comic.
Of all of the
yes,
that would be amazing.
And then Marvel, I think Marvel owned Freddy for a while, so they could do a Freddy one.
Let's do it.
So yeah, but with that, we are going to be reading next time. We're starting the Wildstorm part of these, series or whatever. And it's going to be Jason Badlands number 1 and 2. So just a little 2-part miniseries, but should be interesting. And then after that is the How I Spent My Summer Vacation. Episode 3. So
stay tuned for more of these fantastic spooktaculars.
Yeah, and in case you didn't know, we're releasing these Mondays and Fridays every week until Halloween. So enjoy these extra content for y'all, and be sure to check out all of our stuff on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram.
Support us on Coffee if you can.
Yeah, we have a Coffee in case you guys would like to support us, or if you just want to follow us on there. I will be posting everything we put out every week in a weekly wrap-up thing that will go to your email. So it'll just email you all our videos and podcasts, and you just click on them there.
Everything in one place.
Yep. So we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye.